I want to go over a reason why you may not be getting your EIDL grants or loans right now. And if you have been paying attention to Twitter lately, you can kind of see, or the news, actually the news and Twitter, you can see Biden and Guzman struggling to create a narrative against the lawsuits that they are seeing now popping up in different states. Judges are actually agreeing that Guzman and the SBA has been playing a part of racism and prejudice in the SBA as far as the loans going out to people. Two judges have said, yes, you are being discriminatory towards white men. Now, if you have noticed, if anybody has been watching Twitter, I read Isabel Guzman's tweet. This was 5 hours ago. She is going with, read more about the Biden-Harris administration's commitment to equity and equality is what she said. And then the fact sheet down here is the 100 years ago thriving black community of Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, known as Black Wall. And if you see that narrative being spun right there, did it happen? We don't even know if that happened yet. Hearing from other African Americans that that's really not a true story. They're actually saying that this is a made up thing that they're trying to promote right now. I don't know. Not sure yet. I'm not going to be too insensitive towards it, because if this really happened back in the day, shame, shame, shame on you. But it's not happening today. As we know, this was what our grandparents and my grandparents fought against, because we will not stand discrimination in any way, shape, or form. Whether you're trying to discriminate against a white person, a black person, a brown person, a yellow person, or red person, we will not have it in the United States of America. We are united as one, me and you. We have white people marrying black people, having brown babies, beautiful children of this world. We are a mixed United States of America. The government just don't get it sometimes. Like, hey, they think that the blacks are over here, the whites are over there, and they don't like each other. Wrong. We love each other. We love each other. And I will love to help the black people in America rise up. Rise up. And the black people would love to help the white people rise up, and together we rise up together as one. But I'm trying to show you the narrative that the SBA is spinning so that they don't have to give everybody the money. And as I'm saying, as we're seeing Guzman writing these things out or sending these tweets out, you can see that she's really over here. She says Biden-Harris administration is taking the first steps to correcting this tragical, historical injustice by we honor survivors of the Tulsa massacre. And you notice this is shortly just after they have been found discriminating against Americans, not just Americans, but people in different races also as well. So, and I just want to say this right now. I have black people and brown people and Asians and all different races on this channel saying, we will protest with you, Speak. We are on your side, Speak. We are together as one. We are not what they think we are. And I'm going to tell you out there, African Americans and everybody of color out there, I am on your side too. We are together as one, and we will not stand for discrimination. Our kids will not know about this government that is just trying to give us a race baiting narrative that they're trying to fulfill in their own. They're looking for votes, people. They're not trying to get more money for the African Americans or the minorities. They're trying to get more power in votes. There is no such thing as justifiable racism. We are going to come up against any sort of racism with much, much resolve. Trust me, you do not want to do this, government. This government is trying to pin American people one against the other, Republican against Democrat. They are trying to get us so far separated that we are up against each other, when really it's the government that we need to start taking control over, people. We cannot let them spin a narrative. And shame on you politicians out there for spinning a narrative and breeding it. Because I know politicians out there that are not even politicians yet that are trying to breed hatred amongst one another to get a vote. And we ain't going to have it, because you know what I'm going to do? I am going to come up against that 100%. So let's get this deliberate discrimination, or the right to discriminate, gone out of here, because that's what small businesses are finding out right now, that the SBA is trying to give reasons for the right to discriminate. They're being called out by senators and congressmen, and we watched it on the SBA last week. It was amazing to see Isabel Guzman being called out for it, and right in the wide open, saying, Congressman Haysbert was saying, let's just say what it is. It's racism. They're trying to sell us racism but none of us are buying it. So our government, instead of talking about what really they're going to do with the money, they're talking about stimmies, and they're talking about more funds here, more funds there, but really they've gotten 6 trillion or 7 trillion already, and it hasn't fixed nothing. Now they want another 7 trillion for electric cars. It ain't going to fix a whole lot either. They're talking about stimmies, and they're talking about this. Let's talk about education. Let's talk about lifting people up with education, because if you don't have an education, you ain't going that far. Trust me, y'all, white liberals do not do well picking up and helping out the underserved communities. They never have. They never will. I'm going to go back into this story right here. As Isabel Guzman says, at the same time, millions of underserved businesses, particularly our smallest business and those owned by women and people of color, were left out in the early rounds of relief. Really, I think everybody was left out in the early rounds of relief. People were only getting $1,000 instead of $10,000. It weren't just women and people of color. Trust me, it was everybody. I am not a woman. I am not a person of color, and I was left out. So that doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of us out there that are not women or people of color. Wait a minute. We all are people of color. Yes, they have left all people of color out. White people, black people, brown people. Yes, I agree. You left women out and people of color. All color. Oh, and also the woe men part. You left the men out too. And men of color. All colors. You left us all out. I agree with that one, Isabel, but not just the color that you want everybody to think you mean. The Dems that are trying to sell us a justifiable racism, and we need to let them know nobody's buying it. Here's what we need to do now, Guzman, because you've shown your colors that you are not there for all small businesses. You need to go back to the meeting, relook at it, and watch where you said you would try to be the voice of all small businesses, which you were when you first came out as the SBA administrator. But they've gotten to you, Guzman. They've gotten to you good. And you have become one of the swamp members, one of those who are sitting back in the meetings with those political people back there, and you have become nothing but a puppet to them. And with that in mind, all of us small business owners that really know what's going on, red and yellow, black and white, all of us know what's going on and what you're doing. We know the people that you are following. I can name them. You're following Schumer and Pelosi, and I don't even think Cardin wants anything to do with you. You're following Velasquez and Maxine Waters. You're following that group of people who do not want to talk about the EIDL grant, or who think that a whole bunch of people are out there to get the money, a whole bunch of white middle-class men are out there to get the money, and that's not true. When you're trying to pick and choose, you're hurting everybody in the mix. Everybody, because you're leaving out those people that are married to a white woman that's married to a black man whose son happens to look like he's white, but he's actually black. You're missing out on what America really does look like now, because you guys you're so far off the American people and the small businesses of America that something needs to be done about it. All this, racist that coming out of the SBA is making us sick. We have people going out of business right now. And you're talking racism. This stuff is making me sick. This should not be even the topic of this discussion, Guzman. And you guys have come and brought this into the SBA? Shame on you. Shame on you. So get back to the floor. Call Jackie Rosen up. Get S513 on the floor, because, hey, we want our 10K.
Give it to me. Give it to me.